From Third Blad Court on the campus of Carleton College in Northfield, we proudly present the annual Girls Basketball All-Star Series hosted by the Minnesota Girls Basketball Coaches Association. 41 of the state's top seniors will make their serenade as they transition to college and beyond. Hello everyone, I'm Mike Beaton, joined by Alex Nagel. And Alex, this is always a tough game for us because it means our season has come to an end, but a decorated field this year, 4 3,000-point scores, and over a dozen players who are career record holders at their schools.
Bittersweet, as you mentioned, Mike, it really is. And this sheet, when I look at some of these numbers, it just really jumps out at you. I mean, I look at Jolie Danneka of Andover, 1,761 points, career record holder at Andover. Chelsea Mason, 3,035 points at Mountain Iron-Buhl. I mean, some of these numbers are just amazing.
And ironically, a person who didn't set a career record was Kylie Bravich of Roseau, because Megan Taylor scored a lot of points a few years ago. But who stands out in this year's field?
You know, there's a lot of players that stand out. I don't know if you could pick one, but if I had to, I would probably go with Gabi Haack of Elk River. I think the reason I say that is because there were a lot of naysayers who didn't think Elk River had the ability to win it all. And remember, she wasn't that really what you would call a prominent player in her previous high school years. But this year, she really stepped up to the plate, led her team all the way, and I don't think she got the credit that she deserves in all of this.
Well, she did get a lot of credit winning Miss Basketball last night, and all 5 finalists will take part in this year's event. And I know I've asked you this a couple of times when we've done this event before, but what makes this All-Star Series so special?
Well, for me, when I come here to watch this and cover it, I think what makes it so special, Mike, is that you have the best players in the state playing, just for fun, in a fun environment with their friends, a lot of people that they know, and there's no pressure. And I think that's just what makes it that much more fun.
And we're going to have a lot of fun over the next few hours. And as always, we step aside and let the All-Stars introduce themselves. So we'll take you to that now and bring you the first of our 2 games coming up today.
My name is Quam. I'm a guard from Kenyon-Wanamingo. I'll be going to Mankato State next year, and my favorite player is Maya Moore.
I'm Tori, a shooting guard from Orono High School. I'm going to Yale University, and my favorite player is Steph Curry.
My name is Kohler. I'm a point guard. I go to Alexandria Area High School. I'm going to Northern State University next year, and my favorite player is Mariah Jefferson.
My name is Gabi Haack. I played at Elk River High School. I'm a point guard. Next year I'll be playing at Bradley University, and my favorite basketball player is Zach Levine.
I'm Danneka Voegeli. I'm a center. I go to Winona Senior High School. I will be playing basketball at North Dakota State University, and my favorite player is Carl Anthony Towns.
Hi, I'm Madi Radtke. I go to Lester Prairie High School. I'm going to the University of St. Thomas next year. I'm a shooting guard, and my favorite player is Russell Westbrook.
Macy Hattlestad, point guard from Alexandria Area High School, attending the University of St. Thomas, and my favorite player is Anthony Davis.
I'm Meleah Reinhart. I'm from New Ulm. I'm planning on going to Southwest Minnesota State in Marshall. I'm a shooting guard, and my favorite player is LeBron James.
Paige, Richert, forward, Cedar Mountain-Comfrey, Gustavus Adolphus College, Maya Moore.
I'm Lyndsey Robson. I'm a guard from Apple Valley High School. I'm going to the University of Green Bay, Wisconsin to play basketball, and my favorite player is LeBron James.
I'm Swatek, a guard from Cromwell. I plan to attend St. Scholastica in Duluth, and my favorite player is Michael Jordan.
Hi, I'm Annika Jank, and I go to Edina High School, and I play forward. I will be going to the University of Colorado in Boulder, and my favorite basketball player is Maya Moore.
Hi, I'm Jolie Danninger. I am a point guard. I go to Andover High School. I'll be playing basketball at DePaul University next year, and my favorite basketball player is Steph Curry.
My name is Kaylin Kidd from Northfield High School. I am a wing, and I will be attending University of Wisconsin River Falls. My favorite player is LeBron James.
My name is Emily Polson. I attend PEM High School. I'm a forward, and I will be going to Minnesota State University Mankato. And my favorite basketball player would be Michael Jordan.
Hi, my name is Annika Newman. I go to Concordia Academy in Roseville. I'm a forward, and I will be playing basketball at the Masters University in California next year. And my favorite player is Maya Moore.
I'm Tori Wirtz, shooting guard from Hutchinson High School, and I'm going to St. Carl State University. My favorite basketball player is Lindsey Whalen.
My name is Lyndsey Thunick. I'm a point guard from Mankato Loyola. Next year I'll be playing at South Dakota State University, and my favorite player is Skylar Diggins.
I'm Madi Monahan. I'm a guard from Glencoe-Silver High School. I plan to attend Drake University, and my favorite basketball player is Karl Anthony Towns.
I'm Ashley Freund. I'm a forward from Jordan High School. I'll be going to play at the University of Minnesota Crookston, and my favorite player is Maya Moore.
My name is Chelsea Mason. I'm a forward from Mountain-Comfrey. I plan on going to the University of Minnesota Duluth, and my favorite player is Michael Jordan.
It's about time to play ball, but first, please rise for the playing of our national anthem, presented by the head coach of the Class 3A State Tournament runners-up, Winona Windhawks, Coach Tim Gleason.
And with that, we're going to get underway. As the players get introduced. And Lyndsey Thunick, over 3,000 points and 1,000 career rebounds. Tori Wirtz, part of a perennial Hutchinson program. Madi Monahan led the state in assists this season with 9th in steals. Ashley Freund from Jordan.
Jolie Daniger.
Chelsea Mason led the state in three-point field goals this year.
Really helped propel Andover to the state tournament. And Jank was part of a two-man tandem at Edina with herself and Bailey Helgren. And she's headed to CU.
Northfield came close to getting through the state this year, but Winona had other plans. Polson, part of last year's 2A championship with Plainview-Elgin-Millville. Rick Thuening, part of the Mankato Loyola program.
Regular dark jerseys from New Ulm High School. Number 1, Meleah Reinhart.
Reinhart was 4th in the state in scoring this year.
Alexandria Area High School. Number 3, Kendall Kohler.
Alexandria reached the 3A state tournament, lost to Orono in the quarterfinals.
She had a very good state tournament.
A strong player for Lester Prairie, but they ran into the thorn that was Maranatha.
Number 11, Quam.
Mara Quam won the state scoring race this year, averaging over 27 a game.
Number 11, Macy, Hattlestad.
And there's another member of this year's state tournament team for Alexandria.
And she's headed to St. Thomas, as is Madi Radtke.
Chelsea Swatek, the all-time leader in points at Cromwell-Wright. Apple Valley was upset by Rosemount in the 3-4A section semis. Tori Andrew, part of the first state championship team in school history for Orono.
And boy, what a year she had.
Along with that woman who is headed to Bradley, this year's Miss Basketball.
Boy, I tell you, what a great year for Gabi, Haack, and Elk Grove.
Paige Richert over 1,000 points and 1,000 rebounds. And Voegeli, part of the 2-time runner-up in Class 3A in Winona.
Are the coaches from Alexandria Area High School, Kohler and Julie Romo. Let's hear it for the Stripes.
And we will play 20-minute halves. They do have a shot clock, but
I think that's a good aspect. I think that'll really make this thing interesting. Of course, as you well know, Mike, defense is not the showcase here in these all-star games.
Yep, to quote the line from Whose Line Is It Anyway? The points don't matter today.
Right.
So they won't need a shot clock.
No.
The 4th straight year this event has been held at Carleton College in Northfield. So the Stars will wear the dark jerseys, the Stripes will wear the white, and as always, that means you'll have a few instances of multiple numbers.
Another challenge of these all-star games.
Well, that's what happens when you bring your own high school jerseys.
Yeah.
And we're underway. Again, we do have a shot clock, but everything is academic here. And we'll do our best to get all the names and numbers in order. There's Maddie Monahan, who we saw at the Fury MLK event at St. Catherine. The Monahan sisters, quite the tandem for Glencoe-Silver Lake. They reached the section semis in 2-2A. And Danneka Voegeli tries to get her first basket. Well, she'll get her first putback of the game.
I'll tell you what a great player she's been for Winona.
And there she is with the steal. There's Mara Quam from Kenyon-Wanamingo. An explosive source of scoring, as demonstrated at the Hamlin tip-off event, where Kenyon-Wanamingo participates on an annual basis. Gabi Haack out to Madi Radtke. Radtke turnaround, missed the jumper. And there's Voegeli again.
Good start for Danneka Voegeli in this contest.
Yeah, I think she's trying to get player of the game honors right away. Voegeli headed to North Dakota State next year. And there's a Euro step for Annika Jank, who will be going to Colorado.
Hope she'll take it easy on my UCLA Bruins.
Well, she'll be joining another all-star from a couple years ago, and Monica Burrich.
Yep.
Out in the Pac-12. And there's Mara Quam training the runner. And speaking of Pac-12, you may have heard that Kelly Graves just signed a 6-year contract extension with Oregon. There's Jank missing the floater there, picked up by Voegeli. Oregon reached the Elite Eight for the first time in school history at this year's NCAA tournament. And there is Meleah Reinhart, who draws the foul and will shoot 2. Yes, they do call fouls in the All-Star game. Reinhart will go to Southwest Minnesota State next year. If you don't know where that is, head for Marshall, as in Marshall, Minnesota.
Proud member of the NSIC.
Her pregame ritual is listening to the same song in the locker room before every game. I wonder what song that is.
Probably nothing that you and I like.
I don't know. There were quite a few folks that name dropped Michael Jordan when I asked them who their favorite player was. So even if they weren't around to experience the classics, they certainly respect it. 8-2, Stars over Stripes. Thunink is blocked by Radtke. Ball is live. And a jump ball. Possession arrow will favor the Stars team. And as customary with all-star events, there will be line change subs, so I'm guessing around the 16 or 15-minute mark, we'll see the rosters being swapped.
It's always a good thing, so everybody gets pretty even playing time.
Well, again, these points don't count
right
in any of the totals. There's Mara Quam. She's stripped. And that will be picked up by Quam. Tries to go up against Jank. That's a tough assignment, as anyone who played Edina would tell you. Stripes on the run, and unable to finish was Maddie Monahan. Radtke lost it. That was Lyndsey Thunink who poked it away. She finds Jank, and she gets the roll. So Annika Jank with all 4 points thus far for the Stripes team. Here's Gabi Haack. Haack finished 8th in the state in scoring this year. Led the state for a time, then tailed off a bit, but she's going to get the nice feed into Voegeli. So 2 D1 athletes hooking up there. Jank, baseline, can't get it to bounce, and the rebound goes to Quam, but she loses it to Thunink, and Thunink doesn't have the numbers, and even in an all-star game, she knows to back off. Tries to feed Jank, she comes up short. Annika Newman is fouled by Voegeli.
Annika Newman to line, shooting 2.
Annika Newman will be going to the Masters University in California. She played in a rec league called Little Hoopers when she was 6, and here come the line change subs.
You know, I think the thing that surprised me the most when I had an opportunity to leaf through the program of today's contests was the number of players who have yet to commit to a college. That could be really interesting, Mike.
Well, here's something interesting regarding Annika Newman. She's played the piano for 9 years. But to go on your point, I think one of the biggest undecided at this point, and most of the players I talked to had their minds made up, but one who hasn't is Kaya Porter.
Yeah, that really surprised me when I saw that.
Well, and how about the Suburban East? They'll be going through a power change, I imagine, next year, with a lot of senior talent graduating from Eastridge and Woodbury and Roseville.
And I think you can say the same thing about the Northwest Suburban Conference as well.
Yep, the Park Center core is gone. Gabi Haack and 6 Elk River seniors, they're leaving.
Boy.
That might open the door for a school like Centennial, perhaps.
Yep.
But then again, we weren't sure what Elk River was going to do, as number 10 scores for the Stripes team. That was Ashley Freund. There's Kendall Kohler from Alexandria. Lyndsey Robson, as we noted, upset by Rosemount. And there's Tori Andrew coming up short on the drive. I was going to say, I have to imagine you felt excited to be vindicated about your Elk River proclamation.
I was. I mean, and I was happy for them. I think it was not only good for them, but great for the Northwest Suburban Conference as well.
A lot of folks weren't sure how they were going to manage as Tori Andrews scores without Abby Scheid, and they go undefeated and win the state title.
And the point I made is that when you have 3 teams from the Northwest Suburban Conference playing on the last 2 days of the season, just shows you how good the Northwest Suburban Conference really is.
Yeah, Andover, Park Center, and Elk River. Meanwhile, Andrew and Freund are trading baskets. And Alex, I guess you and I had the distinction of covering the 3A and 4A champions when they played in the same game.
You know, and that's the interesting thing, Mike. You know, a lot of people, including myself, I really wasn't sure what Orono was going to be able to accomplish.
Well, I guess they figured out what the problem was. They had to get rid of Eloise.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. Well, because Elk River, they had a first-year head coach too, and Jeremy DiGiovanni, and they won. So I guess the secret is get rid of your coach. You'll win. It worked for the Cavaliers too.
Well, hopefully that'll work for my LA Rams this fall.
Robson for 3, short, and Freund with the rebound. So if you're watching this, if you want to win a state title, get rid of your coach and bring in someone new. That apparently is the secret these days. Actually, no. I'm kidding. To the folks in front of me, I'm kidding. Fortunately, Alex and I don't get caught up in as Tori Andrew misfires on the 3, we don't get caught up in the politics of coaching and suggest that, you should can somebody after a 5-game losing streak or, losing in a state championship game as Tori Andrew goes to the line. Not Tori Andrew, Tori Wirtz. And Wirtz and Andrew quite familiar with each other because every year it seems like Orono and Hutchinson are playing in that 6-3A final, and Orono had to squeak by Hutchinson to get there. And
big rivals for sure.
And that rivalry expected to continue. Wirtz will attend St. Cloud State next year and major in biomedical sciences. And not surprisingly, her favorite player is Lindsey Whalen. I bet you know why. I don't remember where Lindsey went. I think she was from that area. I'm not sure. 14-12 is our score. And there is Chelsea Mason, the extraordinaire from Mountain Iron-Buhl, a school that has reached the Class A tournament 7 consecutive years.
Such a skilled player.
And you probably were familiar with the reclassification. Mountain Iron-Buhl will no longer have to worry about Maranatha in Class A.
Yeah.
Mustangs are going up to 2A.
Yeah. Well, just like Park Center found out here after being shoved from 3A to 4A that the road is definitely harder to plow.
Chelsea Mason nails the 3. 91 3-pointers this year to lead the state in that category.
Chelsea Mason, not at the moment anyway, planning to play college basketball, although I hope maybe somewhere down the road she has a change of plans.
I believe she made up her mind by the time we hear as Robson scores because the players have to submit their programs in advance, and so maybe they haven't made up their minds at that time.
Yeah.
So there were a few late deciders, but that's all right. Here's Danninger from Andover, hooking up with Polson. On the other end, drawing the foul and shooting free throws will be Paige Richert from Cedar Mountain-Comfrey.
Paige Richert, another great player that did not garner a lot of headlines this year, but should have.
She'll be playing in the MIAC next year at Gustavus Adolphus.
Well, that's quite a gift for Lori Kelly.
And she'll be majoring in criminal justice. Also took part in volleyball, track, band, and trap shooting.
Wow.
Well, trap shooting is becoming a high school sport.
Yep.
There's the high school league even sanctions a state tournament at the end of June. She knocks down both free throws, and the Stars hold an 18-17 lead over the Stripes.
Danneka Voegeli.
But who's keeping track?
Danneka Voegeli back in.
Right, here come the line change subs again, so it looks like every 4 minutes they're going to swap them out. You know what would be really exciting if they swap them out after every whistle? That would give us fits. Here's Gabi Haack, finds Voegeli. Back out to Radtke. So the A line is back out there, if you will. Meleah Reinhart from New Ulm. Radtke fires the 3, off the mark. I guess if anybody is happy to see Maranatha class up, it's Lester Prairie, because the last couple of years they came so close to reaching the state tournament, Maranatha shut the door. So classing up is not always a bad thing. Well, if you're an opponent of the school that's doing it.
Right.
I mean, here's Annika Newman. She can't hit the 3, and the rebound to Reinhart. Mara Quam picks it up. There's Gabi Haack, who launches the 3. Comes up short. Newman scrapping for the rebound, lost it. And Quam can't finish. And here comes Lindsey Thuning. And drawing the foul is Kaylin Kidd, who hails from just down the street. She didn't have to go too far for this All-Star Series.
No, she didn't.
Coming from Northfield. Northfield, like I said, came close to reaching the state tournament, but Winona bit them in the section bracket.
Another team that's losing some very good players, Winona, Voegeli, and Niebelink.
And Kaylin Kidd fans should know that she will play at Wisconsin River Falls next year. So heading over the state border to play D3 hoops.
River Falls always a very strong team in the WIAC.
Gabi Haack hooks up with Radtke, and she hesitated for a moment. Annika Jank got it.
6'2", but she says she has the wingspan of someone who's 6'5", and I believe her.
Edina, they played valiantly throughout the season, lost to Minnetonka in the 2-4A section final. Haack for three. Hasn't hit one yet.
She will.
Well, Haack became something of a celebrity at Elk River as Jank scores. I had the chance to speak with Haack on a one-on-one before my tenure at Minnesota Prep Spotlight came to an end, and after we were done, the track team came for a practice, and they all said, "Hi, Gabi." They all know who she is now. And Haack has swept the awards in Minnesota hoops. And Annika Jank is having quite a game here. Stripes lead 24-18, and Annika Jank is putting on a show.
Yes, she is.
Quam in trouble. Well, they're going to play a little defense.
Oh, yeah.
Not as much as you would see at the state tournament.
There's Gabi Haack.
And there she gets on the board. Haack headed to Bradley University next year in Illinois.
I think that's what made her such a great player this season. She's so versatile. I mean, everybody thinks, well, she's just a perimeter shooter. No, she can get in and get the layups, get those points in the paint.
There's another example. Well, almost. And again, she was a bit unheralded, but it shouldn't be too surprising because, you know, she averaged 16 points a game last year for the Elks when Abby Shai was there, and she just took her scoring to another level. As I mentioned, Haack sweeping the awards this season. Won the Gatorade Player of the Year, was named Star Tribune Metro Player of the Year, and there were some folks who thought that Kylie Bravich might get the Miss Basketball honors, but I think what helped Gabi win out was the visibility. You know, we'd see Elk River on a normal basis in the Northwest Suburban. You know, they made state this year, and Roseau had reached state the last 3 years, but they rarely came to the Metro.
Yeah.
They didn't come down to the Metro at all this year, so Gabi Haack's name, and this is no disrespect to Bravich or anyone else who reached the finalist stage for Miss Basketball, but you know, if you're Annika Jank getting a friendly bounce to finish up my discussion. Sometimes awards are about visibility and getting your name out there. And it was a lot
touched by the lefty who's headed out to Boulder.
And there's Chelsea Swatek, who nails the three, and that is the identity of Cromwell-Wright. I had the chance to cover them a couple of times. Once when they played Como Park, lost that one by 8, and then a second time when they destroyed Red Lake in the Class A quarterfinal. And Cromwell-Wright, because they don't have much height, they make up for it by shooting a bunch of threes. And they're not afraid to shoot the three ball. Line change subs again with just over 8 minutes to play, and usually it takes the teams a little while to get settled in, but we're seeing a fair amount of offense here in the first half. Here's Jolene Danninger.
Talk about Jolie Dannencher for a second. I tell you, Mike, she has got some serious range.
And Dannencher, I believe, is... Well, I don't need to believe. I'll look it up. She's going to DePaul next year.
Yes.
Here's Tori Andrew. Goes up, and that was Tori Wirtz. Maybe a little bit of payback after the 6-3A section final.
Could be.
Robson with the steal. So maybe Dannencher will take over for Jessica January, who is graduating from there. And January had a pretty solid career.
No, she sure did.
And another All-Star, I might add.
Yep.
There's Dannencher, who launches the three, comes up short, and Andover. They were another school that flew under the radar, being in Section 7, one of the weaker ones in 4A, and also in the Northwest Suburban. So, as Tori Wirtz misses the three, so you've had to play against Centennial and El Park Center, and
played a very good contest against Park Center in the Class 4A Consolation Championship game.
Paige Richert left all alone, and she knows what to do with it.
Well, I tell you, she's going to be a wonderful addition at Gustavus.
And so far, the shot clock has not come into play.
No.
I didn't think it would. Polson missing the mid-range J, and it's picked up by number 3 from Alexandria, Kendall Kohler.
And she's going to Northern State, majoring in education or biology, and would eventually like to go on to veterinarian school.
Paige Richert hustling for the rebound, and that sets up a three-pointer for Chelsea Swatek. Swatek, the all-time leading scorer at Cromwell-Wright. And the Cardinals have reached the Class A tournament for 2 years in a row. One thing that will be interesting, we spoke of the reclassification. I haven't had time to go through all of the changes as Chelsea Mason misses the layup. But with Maranatha going up to 2A, it will be interesting to see if they keep their streak of state tournament appearances intact.
Yeah, that, again, whenever you make that move.
Mason hits the corner three.
She's got such a good touch from the perimeter. But again, as I said, whenever you make that move to a class up, the road becomes that much more harder to plow.
In some cases, yes. If nothing else, that means you have to face a different set of opponents now. Kohler missing the three-pointer. Rebound Robson. And that's something she did with impunity at Apple Valley. In Apple Valley, the girls program has been on the rise. Again, came up short in section play this year, and their boys picked up their third state tournament title in school history, knocking off Champlain Park a couple weeks ago. So for a school that used to be known exclusively for wrestling is now getting some respect on the hardwood. And here's another school that has plenty of respect. Plainview-Elgin-Millville and Emmeline Olson will head to the line for two. Olson will go to MSU Mankato, intends to major in nursing. She takes a 30-minute power nap at her house or on the bus before games.
Never a bad thing.
And when she's not playing basketball, she loves cheering on the Minnesota Wild, who tied their franchise record for most points in a season, and a lot of folks think they have potential to make a deep run this year in the NHL playoffs, so we'll have to see what happens there. Polson, as we noted, a member of the 2016 2A state champion Plainview-Elgin-Millville Bulldogs. That team was led by Sarah Hart, who still holds the school record in career scoring, and Voegeli
picking up where she left off.
Voegeli and Jank are making a case for player of the game honors here. Now coming up at halftime, the players who will take part in the second game will have a three-point shootout, and we will bring you that this year. I had a lot of parents ask me about it the last couple of years, and I didn't realize they were that excited about it. And then the players you see on the floor now, they will take part in the three-point shootout at halftime of our second game.
Just adds to the fun.
Radtke deflected by Jank. Newman through the hole and in.
Newman on the basket.
34-33 our score. Gabi Haack over to Voegeli. Spin move, and Jenk will have none of it.
That's that 6'5" reach I was talking to you about.
Newman pulls up off the heel. Throws up a wild shot.
I'm not
Jenk
sure if
will
that was
kick
a shot. She was trying to get it over.
Are you really
trying to get it over
discussing
to
strategy
Jenk.
in an all-star game? I can't believe you're analyzing shot selection. Thuning bounces over to Jenk. Yes. Haack off the screen, fires, can't get the bounce there. And the rebound for Kaylee Kidd. Newman hesitates, will go to Thuning for three. That's short, and Radtke picks it up. Radtke, the skip. Quam drives, doesn't score, but Gabi Haack is there for the O-board, and can't win the scrum there. Well, I guess if you're going to pick a time to struggle, an all-star exhibition would be the time to do it.
Yeah.
She's got the state title, so no worries about that. And Haack, what impressed a lot of people as she steps into a transition three and misses was how poised she was throughout the state tournament games, because everybody was drawing their defense to contain her, and
especially
they had a hard time doing so.
Especially in those games against both Lakeville North in the semifinals and then against Hopkins in the championship game. That was just amazing.
And how about Hopkins? 2 years in a row, and they've come up short in the 4A final.
I think, if anything, that just shows you how competitive the things are in the 4A field. You know, everybody thinks Hopkins is, you can't beat them. Well, they proved that they can beat them.
Well, in the last couple of years, they've had some strong seasons, but they were undone by Minnetonka a year ago and Elk River this year. But much like UConn, Hopkins finds a way to stick around, and with Paige Beckers and Raina Suggs coming back next year, they'll probably reach the state tournament again.
I would imagine they'll be right in the mix.
Well, and some other reclassification notes as we inbound here with less than a minute to go in the first half. Kennedy goes back to 4A, and Robbinsdale Cooper drops down to 3A.
Wow.
A school that has improved their win total since Kiara Buford took over. Well, they'll have to try to prove their medal in 3A as Haack finds Voegeli.
What a first half for Danneka Voegeli.
Well, if you're into strategy, feeding the hot hand is one of them, and for the Stars team, that's been Voegeli. For the Stripes, it's been Jenk. Gabi Haack hooking up with Reinhart in transition, and Maddie Monahan says you're going to have to shoot from the free throw line. Reinhart wants to major in exercise science and get her doctorate in physical therapy at Southwest Minnesota State. Also takes part in tennis, a sport that you're familiar with.
Yes, very
just
familiar.
a little bit, and softball.
And her pregame rituals, listening to the same songs in the locker room before every game.
Yeah, I think we noted that, and we have a timeout.
Jeez.
We called a time. I thought they didn't do that at All-Star games.
Apparently they do every once in a great while.
28.3 seconds on the clock. The Stars lead the Stripes 40-35. As we see a few coaches make their way. There's Jackie Boyd, who's part of the Augsburg coaching staff.
I saw, just from the MIAC, I saw both Lori Kelly from Gustavus and Ruth Sim from St. Thomas.
Well, Voigt is having a chat with Breeze Abel. Both are former All-Stars from this event. Roughly 10 years ago. I can't believe it's been that long.
Yeah.
Actually, this year marks the 10th anniversary of the first time I covered this All-Star Series event. It was held at the old Schoenecker Arena in St. Thomas.
I remember that.
And they had class designations in those years, so you had a bit more lopsided, and then they switched it to backyard ball, if you will. Shot clock is off for what that's worth, but Kidd isn't going to wait that long. There's Gabi Haack. Let's see if she has a buzzer beater in her. No, she'll go to Quam instead. And Quam will bank in the buzzer beater.
Off the glass, no less.
So the Stars will take a 43-36 or 35 lead at halftime, and we'll keep it here because we have the three-point shootout coming up between the blue and white teams.
This should be fun.
So, Alex, as we wait for the three-point shootout to take place, I want to get your thoughts and observations of this season. I know, again, you were vindicated when Elk River won. A lot of us thought you were crazy. But Orono and Roseau also won their first state championships in school history, and Goodhue came back from a 43-point blowout to Mountain Iron-Buhl in December to repeat as Class A champions.
You know, that was really one of the crazier aspects, in my humble opinion, of how the Class A field turned out this year. I mean, who would have thought that Goodhue, which fell by 43 points early on in the season, could rebound and knock off Mountain Iron-Buhl in the state tournament, but they did it.
Class A can be unpredictable that way. And in 2A, Roseau had reached the semifinal round the past couple of years, and they finally broke through.
Well, and you look at a team like Roseau that's been there for the last couple of seasons. You knew at some point, with the Borovich sisters, they were going to win it one of these times, and this year was probably the best year for them to do it.
Her teammates will be her rebounders and passers.
So we're getting ready to start this, and it looks like we will have Kylie Bravich, who became the 18th player in state history to get a quadruple-double. But the first pair of combatants will be Sadie Stelter from Lakeview and Maddie Olson from Rosemount. Olson had the game of her life in the semifinal round against Apple Valley. Their head coach had suffered a heart attack a couple of days before, and he was okay, but he couldn't come out and coach. And Rosemount put in a spirited rally. Maddie Olson led the charge, and Rosemount knocked off Apple Valley. They ended up losing to Eastview later that week in the section final, but we're waiting for this to start. They're getting some warm-up shots in, so we'll have Olson and Stelter go at it, and it appears after that we'll have Bravich and Eden Nibbling from Winona. So Stelter and Olson will go in position. They will have 45 seconds to make as many three-pointers as they can. Alex, would you mind helping me keep track?
I will keep.
You take the left side, I'll take the right.
All right.
One for Stelter.
There's one.
Stelter having a rough start over here.
Just one over here so far. There's two.
Stelter.
There's three.
Having a rough go at this. Now
Four.
she gets her second, but it sounds like Olson is on a roll over there.
Yes, she is.
She has 4, Stelter has 2. Still a few seconds.
5.
And it looks like Olson's going to hang on.
6. 6. I have 6 for Olsen.
So Maddie Olsen beat Sadie Stelter 6-2.
Now I've got Eden Niebelink.
Eden Niblink for Winona and Kylie Bravich out of Roseau. And nobody can still get Kylie Bravich's name right. So Alex,
it took me a while.
It didn't take me long, but I had to call the game with Roseau when they beat New Richland. The game where Bravich got a quadruple double. All right.
There's one for Niblink.
Bravich is yet to get on the board.
There's 2 for Niblink. There's 3 for Niblink. 4. 5. She's on a groove here. 6.
Bravich gets on the board.
7. 8. 9. 10.
I think
11.
He's going to win this round.
12. Oh, she finally shows she's human. 13. 4. Ooh.
Almost.
14. Goodness. 14.
And Bravich will finish with 6. But Eden Niblink.
She just set this roll on fire.
Roll, even Abe has to give her some applause. 14 3-pointers. So Eden Niblink will advance. And it appears it will be Niblink and Maddie Olsen for the final round. Okay, they won't have a playoff. So it was just one go at it, and Eden Niblink with 14.
Might have to call the
let's just say
Northfield.
she beat the whole field and then some. She lapped the field.
Might have to call the Northfield Fire Department out here and cool those nets down a little bit.
I hope she doesn't set Winona ablaze. So Eden Niblink wins the individual competition. Now the team contest. So a layup, free throw, three-pointer, and half-court shot, much like you see at NBA and college gyms. I remember last year, Sarah Hart hit a half-court shot to win it for her team at the first go. So they'll have Michaela Hayes and Hannah Geisfeld in position for the layup. That doesn't surprise me.
There's no free throw yet. He didn't get it. Here we got the free throw.
The white team out to the three-point line. All right.
Niblink might hit it. Nope.
Stelter just needs a half-court shot to win it for the white
got
team.
The 3. So here we go with the half-court.
Oh, she was close. They'll try again. That doesn't go in. And again, it's round robin, and Simonette can't put it down. And it looks like both teams are at the half-court phase. We're waiting for someone to knock it down.
Ooh, that was close. Ooh.
We will not have a repeat of Sarah Hart in this round.
Nope.
Who's going to make it?
Danneka Voegeli.
Oh, geez.
Where Eden Niblink has a chance here. Oh, she got it! Off the glass. Goodness gracious.
So Eden Niblink wins it for the blue team. She wins the three-point shootout and hits the half-court heave. It took a few tries to get there, but Eden Niblink cleaning house in the halftime skills competition. I'm impressed.
Me too.
All right, why don't you go ahead and share a few more of your observations while I get things settled here as we continue this halftime.
All right. Well, I guess Mike, just continuing on with the 3A field, I think the thing that really impressed me was how Orono, they shook off some cobwebs, I guess, in the middle portion of the season when they were playing in the Park Center Holiday Classic, and they didn't look all that impressive at the time. Really came together as the season progressed, and lo and behold, Orono took Class 3A by storm in the state tournament, and they were able to win the whole thing. And I think for a first-year coach, I think that's awfully impressive. And considering a new system as well. And then again, in the 4A class, I just think a lot about Elk River. I was really touting Elk River a lot during the early and middle portions of the season after I had a chance to watch them play, and I was very impressed. And the fact that they knocked off two very good teams in Lakeville North and Hopkins to win it, I just think it's so impressive, because nobody, even some people in the Northwest Suburban Conference, didn't give Elk River a snowball's chance in Hades to win it, and yet they did it. They did it their own way.
And now that the players have had a chance to warm up, we'll start the second half of our Stars Stripes game here at the Girls Basketball All-Star Series, the 13th year of this event, and the 4th straight year at Carleton College in Northfield. Mike Beaton and Alex Nagel with you, and like we said, it's a bittersweet because the All-Star Series means that our broadcast season has come to an end, but even though I may not be with School Space Media anymore, I will probably return in some capacity next year. And on the bright side, that means maybe I won't have to pull you for so many Suburban East games. Not that I enjoyed it. We had a lot of fun.
Just to be clear, I enjoyed those Suburban East conference
We had a good
games.
one with Roseville and
That
Eastridge.
doozy over at Eastridge.
The Eastville-Roseville game. That was a good one.
That was one great
and
game.
you missed Parker Cottage Grove upsetting Eastridge the following week.
Yeah.
Next year, though, I've got a sense that, White Bear Lake will probably be in the thick of it. They always find a way. Cretin-Durham Hall has a young team.
Yep.
And don't count out Stillwater and Sarah Scalia.
Yep.
Who Kevin Anderson could tell you a thing or two about. So the second half is underway. The Stars lead 43-35 over the Stripes. Tori Andrew will add to that lead. Tori Andrew, one of the leaders in three-point field goals this season. And Maddie Monahan, beep, beep, on her way to the rim. Hey, didn't anyone tell you not to text and shoot camera? (45-37) our score. Points academic, of course. Annika Newman, long two, swish. And I see the Schaubs are here, Charlie and Danielle Schaub, who will see both of her Park Center teammates take the floor in our next game.
Of course, Danielle is going to be playing at Concordia St. Paul this next season. I tell you, what a run it's been for Park Center and that trio.
And they'll be going through a transition with
Chris
senior
Vanderhyde.
core. Yep, and Chris Vanderhyde leaving.
Yep.
But I talked to him briefly at halftime, and he said he couldn't turn down the opportunity at Gustavus.
Yeah. Well, and a chance to be on Lori Kelly's staff there, a team that, like Gustavus, that
and when you look
had a great season this last year.
And when you look at the welfare of Park Center, and that's not to say that anybody would just jump ship, but
right.
You knew that they were going to have a tougher go at it next year.
Right.
So Section 5 may be open for the taking after Park Center got through the last couple of years. Paige Richert with the layup.
I just when I look at that Section 5 in the Northwest Suburban Conference, I really think Centennial is going to be awfully tough to beat this next year.
Well, now that they have an old familiar, Chelsea Mason knocks down the three, they have a dose of familiarity with Jill Becken back there.
Yep.
And Centennial had quite the season.
Tell you what, they gave Elk River a run for their money at Elk River.
And they played Park Center pretty well in the 5-4A section final.
Yes, they did.
Here's Richert. Blocked. Shot clock doesn't reset. Kohler won't beat it.
Well, I guess the one instance where the shot clock did come into play. But no, in any event, I was covering that game back in February when Centennial took Elk River to overtime out there at Elk River and had them on the ropes.
Newman, turnaround, no good. And Andrew with the rebound. Robson. Got it. And for those wondering, there is another Jones, a female Jones, who will be coming up through Apple Valley in the years to come. Mason, step back three, short that time. And Richert gets the rebound. And here come the line change subs again. I know you don't follow the boys bracket as closely, but you know that the Jones family, they're all pretty good. Trey Jones rose his stock value, if you will, from this year, and that was a team much like Elk River. Folks are wondering, could they manage without a star player? In Apple Valley's case, it was Gary Trent Jr. For Elk River, Abby Scheid, and goes to show you that it can be done.
Yep.
Freund missing the corner three.
What a save by Gabi Haack.
Well, she gives it right back to Freund. Polson, yes. Haack. Bounces over to Voegeli. Quam comes up short there. (49-44), Stars over Stripes. And there's Freund, who misses the three-pointer. And historically, there usually is a yo-yo effect at these all-star events. One team goes up to a lead, and then the other team rallies back. Here is Danneka. Goes to Jank. Like we say, feed the hot hand.
Those two know each other very well.
Gabi Haack steps into a three. This has not been her game, but she's had plenty of good ones throughout the year, and I imagine we'll have more at Bradley next year.
Jolie Danneka, a fun fact about her, she has 3 dogs, and 2 of them wear diapers.
Thuning for three. That's short, and the missed basketball picks it up. Reinhart. Goes inside to Voegeli, and she lost control of the ball with 6 seconds on the clock. And the Stars will call a timeout. Again, timeouts at an all-star game?
Doesn't happen a lot.
Well, that gives us a chance to highlight the coaches for the two teams. For the Stars, a pair of Alexandria staffers, Wendy Kohler and Julie Robel, both part of the team that reached the 3A state tournament this year. And for the Stripes, Rick Thuning and Rob Schroeder from Mankato Loyola. Wendy Kohler has been a head coach for 32 years. Part of the 1984 NSIC champions.
Wow.
MSU Moorhead was a 4-year captain there. And she also won a state championship in 1997 with Alexandria, the first year of the 4-class bracket. Thunink doesn't have a state tournament title to his resume, but he has reached 2 of them. Danninger for 3. Short. Whoa, look out. Thunink slipped up. We might need to wipe up some perspiration down there. You were mentioning some storylines at halftime, and one that I'll be keeping an eye on next year as Robson misses the 3-pointer is, well, next year's class has some pretty good names to it. Raina Suggs, we mentioned, Sam Hybe, who already has the school record at Moorhead. I wouldn't be surprised to see both of them make this year's event. Carmen Backus is going to be a player to watch. She tore her ACL. I had the unfortunate distinction of covering the game when she suffered that injury. I think the question is, can she get a full season in at Chisago Lakes? She's a very proficient scorer and rebounder when she's at full strength. And Heaven Hamling out of Grand Rapids. Someone who you've gotten to see over the last couple of years with your state tournament experience, and Hamling already holds the school record over in Grand Rapids. So you've got a couple of players who are poised to destroy their school records by this time next year. Andrew, swish. Tori Andrew, part of a long line of Orono standouts, joining her brethren from a year ago as Monahan misses the layup. Last year you had Danielle Jorgensen and Megan Mandel make the all-star field from Orono as Andrew fires the deep 3, comes up short. Andrew headed to Yale next year. And she gets the block on Kaylee Kidd. Annika Newman can't put it down. Mason for 3. That's short, rebound Swatek. And with Orono, even all the way through the championship, Lavessa Glover Verhagen, the first-year coach, told me her motto was all about having fun. When it came to game time, they got serious, but he said even leading up to the state tournament, as Haack goes to the line for 2, Orono was hosting dance parties in the locker room. And I think it's really good to see that you can still have fun even in a high-pressure situation.
Oh, absolutely.
And then I know you're looking up Gabi Haack.
Now, her pregame rituals or superstitions, she says she has to wear 2 pairs of socks when I play in games.
And she also put on basketball camps in order to fundraise for a European trip that's coming up.
Oh, nice.
Her earliest memory was playing in kindergarten, winning a game 74-6. And that is probably what gave her the sign to keep playing basketball, and look what's happened since. She said they even changed the rule. After that game, they no longer kept track of points in kindergarten and first grade. Wirtz for 3. No good. Haack with the rebound. Tries to go outlet. Wirtz with the steal. She'll bounce over to Kaylee Kidd. She can't hit the baseline J. 52-46 our score. 12:21 left in the second half. And after the game, we'll get a word with a couple of our players. Voegeli and Jenks still stand out to me. And then we'll also try to get a word in with Gabi Haack, who's the darling throughout the state this year. Wirtz with the steal. And here's Annika Newman. Pulls a fake. No good, but Maddie Monahan is there for the cleanup.
Well, I tell you what, when Gabi Haack received the Miss Basketball award last night, one of the first things that she said was that she wanted to give all the credit and thanks to her teammates.
That is a standard answer, and that's not to say that
no,
they're not thankful.
I think there's a lot of truth to that. I mean, they all had a big part.
That is the fallback. Most players don't think about themselves. At least not the.
Yeah.
At least the ones that I talked to. There are a couple that maybe not in this class, but you run into a few that maybe have a higher opinion of themselves. But most folks like Gabi Haack and the other finalists said, they're just glad they had this opportunity. And Haack had plenty of help with Kelsey Cox, Sydney Wentland. Remember that
Ava Kramer.
There were 6 seniors on that team.
Yep. Danielle Lackmiller.
Works blocked by Richert. Kohler to Voegeli. Blocked by Jenk. She'll kick out, and Radtke will not hit the three-pointer. Radtke tries again. Can't bank it in. Thuning with the rebound. Danninger for 3. Well, that looked good, but it did not fall.
Talk about Madi Radtke. She's headed to St. Thomas.
Or she'll play for Robson.
Yep.
And Ellen Weesey,
Yep.
who we mentioned earlier. In St. Thomas, seemingly every year they reach the NCAA tournament in Division III.
And one of her pregame rituals is that she has to listen to music before every game.
A lot of folks do so. Kohler for 3. Short, and the rebound to Reinhart. And that's going to be a reach-in foul on Reinhart. We mentioned Haack. Chelsea Mason, who's sitting the bench right now, is the other finalist taking part in this game. The remaining 3 will be in our second game. Thuning pulls up from 13, and that's off the mark. And Kohler picks it up. Meleah Reinhart can't put it in. Chelsea Mason will go to Minnesota Duluth and major in pharmacy. But does not plan to continue with athletics.
I hope she changes her mind.
That's quite surprising when you look at a player of her acumen. Over 3,000 points. On top of that, she broke the career steals record that was held by Rebecca Dahlman.
Well, I would have to think if she's going to UM Duluth that head coach Mandy Pearson wouldn't mind having her on her team.
You think Pearson will try to lobby her?
Don't be surprised.
Danninger can't get the roll. Well, and you and I both know that only a small percentage of athletes, boys or girls, go on to play college. As much as we talk about the plethora of Division I talent.
Yeah.
Some decide to hang it up in high school. Others want to continue in college. And Annika Jank can't hit the three-pointer. And no outlet pass for the Stars team. 54-48 is our score. The Stars holding a 6-point lead. Voegeli with the steal. Radtke drains the runner.
She'll be a nice addition on Robson's squad. Whoops. I think that's one of Tony Gear's cardinal sins.
In their defense, this is the first time that most of these kids have played alongside each other. You know, maybe a few have AAU experience, and you can't send more than 2 students per school to this event.
Right.
So in most cases, you're playing alongside teammates you've never seen before. Tori Andrew hustling her way in.
Tell you, she's got some really good upper body strength.
Andrews had a pretty solid second half. Mason straddles the baseline, and Reinhart is there for the steal. 7 minutes and 40 seconds left. The blue and white teams will take the floor in our next game. And the white team, or I should say the stripes team, will take the timeout. As the game has been a little sloppier here in the second half, but
a little bit more.
Like we had said,
Yeah. You kind of expect those kind of things in all-star games.
well, in the case of the boys, it's usually let's go and
Right.
put on a show.
Yeah.
For the girls, some of them are trying to prove why they're here, but again, you don't have the chemistry.
Right.
You get a practice the night before, but
And that's about it.
well, how do you draw up a scheme where, like I said, in most cases, you're playing alongside teammates you've never seen before?
Yeah.
Well, back in the old days, that was less of a scenario, or less likely, because it was by class. But here, everybody.
It's really a hodgepodge of.
Yes. So a high-octane first half has cooled off a bit. Kaylee Kidd tried to throw up a wild shot, couldn't put it in. Robson steps into a 3 and is short. And the rebound to Chelsea Mason. Annika Newman scores a transition.
Nice move by Newman on that. Look out. Ooh, I thought she might have that.
Andrew missing the deep 3, but there's another 3-point shooter. And Chelsea Swatek, they'll go inside to Gabi Haack, and she's blocked by Wirtz. She'll try to go outlet to Madi Monahan, who puts on a burst of speed and gets the roll.
Nice little run by the Stripes here to cut the deficit down to 6 points.
Robson goes up, can't get the roll, but Haack is there and had trouble applying the brakes. Chelsea Mason draws contact, nothing called, and she gets the putback.
Well, I tell you
and
what.
now the Stars are calling a timeout. We're seeing a lot of strategy here.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what.
In the final minutes of this.
If I were a college coach, I'd sure try to do anything to try and get Chelsea Mason on my team.
Well, again, Mason going to UMD, so again, it'll be up to their coaching staff to see if they can get her on board. But I'm a little perplexed by the amount of timeouts I've seen.
Well, a 4-point game here with just over 6 minutes left. This could get really interesting down the stretch.
To follow up on our open, by the way, a total of 14 players in this year's field broke school records in career scoring. Several of them are in this game.
Well, we mentioned Chelsea Mason with her points. She was 8th in state in assists, 3rd in steals, and led the state in 3-point field goals with 91.
So 9 of the 14 who broke school records in career scoring are taking part in this game. The remaining 5 will take the floor shortly. Kaylee Kidd missing the 15-footer. It's a 4-point game with just over 5 minutes to play as another line change is upon us. Here's Voegeli kicking out to Kohler. And the Stars have been in a scoring drought over the last several minutes. They only have 15 points in this half.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Why am I counting points? Now even I'm getting trapped into the strategical element of this. Freund knocks down the triple.
Just like that, a 1-point game.
So it's a 1-point game. Andrew pulls up. Can't bank it in. Freund with the rebound. The Stars will make a line change at the next whistle. Kohler with the steal. Gabi Haack, 2-on-1. Knows exactly what to do, and Tori Andrews the beneficiary. So the Stars end their scoring drought. However long that was.
Ooh, she's got the range, I'll tell you.
Andrew with the rebound. Quam shakes her defender. Goodbye. Quam did a lot of that for Kenyon-Wanamingo over the years. Freund for 3. Short. Less than 4 minutes to play, and the Stars have patted their lead back to 5. Kohler to Andrew. She'll lob it for Voegeli. She's going to try to post up on Polson and does. But they're going to stop play to get the line changes in. Because again, the score is academic.
And again, that's the yo-yo effect you were referring to a little while ago.
Yep, Stripes got to within 1. The Stars push it back out. And a high-low play from Danninger to Emmeline Polson. Well, let's see what happens in these final few minutes. Robson throwing up a tough shot there. Freund hesitates and swishes down the mid-range J. 1 possession game again. Radtke can't get the leaner. Jank.
Whoa.
Another transition score, and the yo-yo once again heads over to the Stripes direction. Do we have an overtime game?
I don't know.
Have we had one before?
I don't think so. At least not that I'm aware of.
So could we be staring at history here at the All-Star Series?
Here we go, Chelsea Mason.
One of the state leaders in steals.
Got it.
And the Stripes take the lead. One of the state leaders in steals this year, and I should add the career leader in steals.
Chelsea Mason.
There's another
with
one.
Steal. Oh.
And a pair of
Radtke
Class
with
A
a block.
foes, and Madi Radtke swipes it back. A pair of schools that didn't get to see each other in state, and how about that sequence by Chelsea Mason?
Yeah.
So the Stripes are the 1-point lead. Well, Gabi Haack knows how to get out of a tough jam. Annika Jank with a strip. Andrew swipes it back. Kohler. No good. Voegeli comes up with it. Haack for 3. All right. Will the Stripes slow it down? I bet you they will.
Kind of a wild sequence of events down there at the other end, though.
Danninger sees a hole and draws the foul. As we noted earlier, Danninger will be going to DePaul. Thinking of majoring in communications, reached the state tournament in 2015 and 2017. And
already mentioned about her 3 dogs.
Her advice to younger players is to listen to everyone who wants to help you. And she also was an Academic All-State Award recipient. She makes it a 2-point game. And the Stars will call a timeout. So we've got ourselves
nice little ball game.
We do, and a little bit of strategy here at 58.7. Now, in most cases, you have your go-to plays and things like that, but in an all-star game, how do you draw something up? Because you've got a lot of capable players out there.
Yeah, that's the kind of a conundrum there, Mike.
How do you draw up a play when you've got 3-point shooters like
Gabi
Chelsea
Haack.
Swatek? Swatek and Tori Andrew. Haack can kind of do everything. She's not exclusively a 3-point shooter. Right. In other news, does this song take you back?
What's that?
Does this song take you back? Well, a couple of, for someone up front, she's enjoying the throwback.
Yeah.
Was this popular when you were in school? Okay, it was. I think I just dated some of the fans here. I'm not getting any younger, but I'll tell you this: this song came out before I was born. 1984. I would not come for another 3 years. All right, 58.7. And Andrew went for the home run, and instead Lindsey Thunen catches the fly ball. But again, with the shot clock, you can't hang on to it. But the Stripes could put down the dagger here, and Danninger does just that.
Oh!
Danninger with the steal.
And the layup.
So the Stripes are going to come back from 10 down to win this game.
Well, who said there wasn't strategy in all-star games?
That would have been me, and I would be wrong. Very wrong. A reminder that the blue and white team will take the floor next. I may have to get a word in with Danninger at the end of this one. Of course, with these all-star events, it's...
I don't think anybody's going to.
I don't think I'm not really. Yeah, I can't. I'm not keeping track of points.
No.
This is the only game where I don't keep track of anything really. That'll change next month, of course, when the Lynx start up their season, as they look for redemption once again. Actually, Alex, you've been vindicated quite a few times this year. The Sparks won the WNBA Finals, although that one was less of a reach, so to speak. Elk River, Kevin and I were thinking, are you sure you know what you're talking about? And you did. Have you considered playing the lottery?
Maybe I should do that here tonight yet.
We are nowhere near the bonus. And the Stars they're playing foul and chase. They're trying to get the steal, and I guess, even in an all-star game, they're going to play for the win. There's another one.
Well, I tell you what, the thrills that Gabi Haack and her Elk River teammates provided this season won't be forgotten anytime soon.
Well, I don't think they'll ever forget about it because they have a state tournament trophy at their display case. And I was at Elk River to see it. Tori Andrew was yelling turnover, and it didn't work out. So the Stripes come back from 10 down to win 69-64. Annika Jenk got them off to a quick start, and Jolene Danninger, the DePaul recruit, finished the job for the Stripes.
Great game, fun game.
It was indeed. So with that, we will go down, and I'm going to try to round up some post-game interviews. But again, we have another game coming up with the blue and white team as the All-Star Series continues here from Carleton College in Northfield. And joining me from the Stars and Stripes game is Danneka Voegeli from Winona, Annika Jenk from Edina, and Jolene Danninger from Andover. And Danneka, you had quite the start to this one. How long did it take you to get a rhythm in this game?
At the beginning of the game, we kept on talking about pushing the ball and getting into the hoop, so I think just having that motivation helped us get like that.
How fun is it to take part in this event? Of course, Hallie Hepner was in this event last year, so you keep the Winona tradition going.
Yeah, it's definitely cool playing with everyone that I've seen play and all the All-Stars, so continuing that is pretty cool.
And then what would you make of your career overall? You reached the state tournament championship 2 years in a row, came up short both times, but you got to have a lot of fun experiences, I bet.
Yeah, it's definitely incredible making it 2 years in a row. Our school hasn't been there in a while, so it's really cool.
Any favorite moments from this event?
Definitely just hanging out with all the girls. All of them are so nice, and it's really cool to hang out with all of them.
And what is it like for you to play alongside and against some other talented seniors? Because I think the fun part about this All-Star Series is all the teams are jumbled up, and you get to meet some new faces.
Yeah, definitely. Playing against Tori before this and playing with her is much different, so that was kind of cool. And then playing with some other individuals like Gabi, Miss Basketball, that's kind of cool also.
So is it easier to play alongside Tori than against her?
Definitely.
And Annika, you are part of that two-person tandem with yourself and Bailey Helgren, and you had a strong first half too. Did you two have some sort of secret bet going on, or?
Oh, no, we didn't. It's just always good to go out at the beginning and play hard to get the flow of the game going so we can play well as the game continues on.
And even though this won't count in your record, how cool was it to see your team come back from 10 down in the second?
Oh, comebacks are always fun. I love them, and so it was good to end my high school career on a comeback like that.
And you'll be joining another All-Star in Colorado and Monica Burrett, so what are you looking forward to as you get ready for Pac-12 competition and a conference that has a lot of tough competitors like Oregon State and Oregon who got to the Elite Eight this year?
I'm excited to just get up and down with those girls and to get the flow of it. The altitude will be a little bit of a change, but I'm excited for it.
And what is your favorite moment from this All-Star Series?
Probably bowling or just hanging out with all the other girls here. It's been a lot of fun.
How good of a bowler are you?
Not very good. I got an 88, so not horrible, but I'm not very good.
What about you two? How good were you at the bowling alley?
I think the best part was my little dance-off I had. I wasn't very good at the bowling part, but I had a little dance-off. I hit my knee, but I recovered.
What about you, Jolene?
I'll keep my talents for the basketball court, not the bowling alley.
And speaking of talents, you're taking them to DePaul, and I don't want to say you'll take over the mantle, but in a way, you'll fill a role that Jessica January had the last few years there, another former All-Star. So what excites you about taking that next step to DePaul?
I think it's just so exciting. I've loved taking every step. You go from traveling to high school to AAU, and it's kind of just continually building the skills, and I'm just excited to it's a whole new challenge, and it's a big challenge for me to fill, and so I'm excited to step up to it.
And on top of that, how exciting is it to end your career with the all-time school record in points?
It's awesome. I mean, it's a whole career thing, and obviously it's all the other girls that are getting me the ball, and it's helping, but it's definitely awesome. It's fun to end with that and just to see all the hard work paying off.
Where did you come up with that play in the final minute? You were getting steals and baskets, and I think we saw a bit of the Danneka from the state tournament this year.
I think it's just the adrenaline, and I'm competitive. I mean, I don't like to lose, so it's kind of just the competitiveness coming out in me at the last minute. My body does what it has to do.
And how cool is it to take part? We mentioned Danneka playing alongside some new friends. What about you two getting to play with each other and, getting a chance to see some names that you've never met before?
It's awesome. I mean, I've heard of all these girls and seen them on TV and playing games, and it's just awesome to kind of get to know them and talk to them, and you see a whole new side of them, and then to get to play with them is just awesome and to kind of build that friendship.
And Danneka, I forgot to ask you, what is your next step? Where are you going from here?
I am going to play at NDSU, so
3 D1 recruits. Maybe you'll get to play each other in the NCAA tournament. Anyone you want to say hi to?
my mom. Hi, Mom. Hi, Grandma and Grandpa.
My whole family. Hi, guys. Thanks for everything.
Well, a lot of family shout-outs. Thanks for taking the time to speak with us, and congratulations on the All-Star selection. And I hope to hear big things from the three of you when you get to college. So if you don't mind putting up 20 points and 15 rebounds, or maybe 15 assists in your case, Jolene, I would be happy to hear that. Danneka Voegeli, Annika Jank, and Jolene Danneka from our first game. You're watching the 2017 Girls Basketball All-Star Series.